guys, Barry Nissan here from Epic Cycles. In today's video, we're going to go over troubleshooting a Sur Ron that you just got, or perhaps this could have happened after you got it, but the power turns on. However, there's no throttle engagement in the bike. So we're going to troubleshoot to see how this happened. We've heard, like we've in recent times, we've actually had this problem occurring with bikes right out of the boxes. So you've got your Sur Ron, you're super stoked, you've assembled it, everything's good. You power the bike on, clearly everything comes on, the battery, the display, the horn, everything is working, except you have no throttle. Now, the Sur Ron does have sensors, which is within the kickstand, brakes, and as well as a tilt sensor. So you hear on some forums people saying if your throttle doesn't work, maybe it's your tilt sensor, so you have to unplug the tilt sensor, maybe unplug the brakes, or maybe it's the kickstand sensors. So we've tried all of that and nothing has happened. We went as far as changing the controller, still nothing. So the next logical thing was just the throttle. So we've seen this happening, is where the throttle not working, and in this video we discovered anyways that it is that electronic throttle that has been faulty. So we're going to demonstrate how to change that and show you how it's going to work once we change the throttle. I'm going to give it to our tech Stephen and Rob to take over and demonstrate this for us.
Okay, so first things first, you want to make sure that the bike is powered off, and then also we're going to flip the breaker to the off position, and that's located inside the battery compartment. Most of you guys may already know this. That's just the breaker switch that will turn off, and just for safety reasons we'll disconnect the 6-pin controller wires and the high voltage wires. Then we can begin work in removing the throttle. So the original throttle, if you've already installed this, you'll just want to be mindful of how the location is. There's a flat spot here that basically allows the brake lever clearance for range of motion. Some people have rotated this so that the round part is actually blocking the brake lever. But yeah, you just want to be mindful that these two bolts are facing the rider, and it's branded here with the raised lettering that says Sur Ron. So this is, it just slides off as one assembly. But you'll notice that there are zip ties holding the throttle, the electronic throttle wire in place. So we'll just cut these off. And as you trace this wire down, this bike was built in a way where the throttle wire is running over the headlight and then through the left fork tube. And you'll see another rubber, like a Sur Ron rubber cable management tie. You'll want to remove that also. And then you can see exactly where this throttle goes. It goes towards the underside, inside the bash plate here. We'll be dropping that. But I'm going to remove this 3mm bolt that is bolted to the frame that holds the throttle into the frame. And it's just a simple 3mm Allen bolt that threads right into the frame, like I mentioned. Just take that right off, and that will allow you more freedom with the throttle cable. So this is that little tie here. It's like a P-clamp. We'll want to keep these together and set it aside on your bench. Now comes time to drop down this bash guard here. You'll see that it's routed through this little plastic piece, but we're actually going to be removing the bolts on this and loosening the bolts down here so that this entire assembly will just open like a door. So these bolts here are 5mm, and there is a bracket nut that helps hold this bash plate in place. So when you reinstall, you just want to be mindful of where these little slots are. They go into this tab, and that's how it would be secured. And the female end of the nut will face inside. But here's the bolts, and we'll just keep them together, set them aside. Now this is the throttle wire here. You can see that sometimes it'll be hard to remove, so we'll need to remove this bolt. It's a 4mm bolt. And that allows you to pop the throttle wire out. This is the connector for that throttle. Simply push down on this tab and it'll slide right out. So that's basically it to remove the throttle. And we'll fish it through here, through the fork. And then, because you've already loosened the 4mm nuts or the bolts for the throttle, it just slides right off. And that's the damaged throttle that doesn't power the bike or doesn't allow the bike to propel forward. And we'll just show the reinstallation of a new throttle. So this is a brand new throttle that we know is working well. And one thing we noticed is that it's a drive-by wire, meaning there's no mechanical connection. It's all just electrical wire. You may want to pay attention to the connection up here. Just make sure there's no pinches or tears in the sheathing. And yeah, just reinstall. Again, paying attention to the flat on this side to allow the brake lever freedom of movement right in there. And now we'll route the wiring through the fork again. And this is where we'll want to grab our little 3mm nut. You guys remember the P-clamp that bolts to the frame just to make it tidy? We'll reinstall that. And we can pair it with the other cable that's beside it. And we can tuck the wiring just behind this horn connector splash guard. It's a vinyl piece that goes right in front of the wire. And again, down through here, just to make it nice and tidy. And lastly, connecting the two ends together of the new throttle. And you'll want to push the connector inside this rubber splash. It's just to add a layer of weatherproofing. Sometimes you just gotta massage it and push it right through. Just to be safe. And then you can tuck the excess underneath the shroud there. And now we can raise the bash guard. And now when the bash guard is back up, you'll want to reconnect this little 4mm bolt to secure this little rubber splash guard into the controller there, and that's 4mm. And now everything's connected with the new throttle. It's good to go. Let's power this on. Actually, no, before we power it on, I forgot. We need to reconnect these wires here. So the high voltage wires, you just want to take note, it only goes one way. The smaller end goes, the positive lead goes to the larger female end, and the negative goes to the smaller female end there. Plug that in, 6-pin connector. Then your breaker you want to put into the on position, like so. Close the battery cover. Power on the bike. You know it works because the headlights are on, the display's on, the horn works. Now, if you want to check that the throttle works, just put the kickstand up and you'll know that the throttle now works.
Et voila, we did it. Thank you for watching this video on an instructional on how to replace your electronic throttle on your Sur Ron bike.
Thank you for watching and subscribe. Hit the notification bell as well. Thank you very much, guys.
Take care. Bye-bye.